Alright, so today we're talking about unit rates. Now, a unit rate is a special rate. Alright, and it's not so much special, it's basically going to look like what we were doing yesterday, just we're going to simplify it in a special way. Go get the notes from outside. Okay. So a unit rate is a rate, which means we'll set it up like we did yesterday. It's just going to be simplified in a special way. So it's a rate that is simplified so thank you. So the denominator is 1. So it's a rate that simplifies so the denominator is 1. So it's exactly what we did yesterday, except for we have to simplify it in a special way. Guys, I need the denominator to be 1. So when we simplify, we're dividing. What could I divide by that gives something a 1? What would I divide by that gives something a 1, Vanessa? Itself. So in this case, since I want the denominator to be 1, what am I going to divide the fraction by? When you say itself, what is it? So we said we need the denominator to be 1. You can divide something by itself to make it 1. So if the denominator is what I want to be 1, what am I dividing by? Lizzie? The denominator. So we'll put a little star here, because as long as you'll divide by the denominator, we should be good. So the unit rate means you're going to divide by the denominator. Alright. So we're going to set these up every single time. What are we going to be doing? Dividing by the denominator. How do you know what to divide by? You look on the bottom every single time. Alright? So for number 1, setting this up like yesterday, how would I set up that fraction for number 1? Lauren?
44 on top and
44 on top, 4 on the bottom. So I'm not simplifying this by choosing a number that goes on both. What am I simplifying this by doing? Dividing it by 4, because 4 is the denominator. So dividing by 4. Again, for your notes, please write this in. And in fact, guys, today, I'm going to be honest with you, a lot of people, the notes, they were like, this is so easy. And then they started doing their homework, and it was a little bit harder for them. And a lot of it was because they weren't writing this down. All right, which seems kind of silly. But if they would have written this down, they would have known, obviously, what are they dividing by? Whatever's on the bottom. So if you'll write that down, it'll make your life a little easier. All right, I'm not requiring it, only in the notes. Okay? So here we're going to do 44 divided by 4, which gives me 11 over 1. All right, when we start on a homework, I'll let you get calculators out for the notes today. We're not going to use them, okay? All right, so there's my new rate. Now, 11 over 1 doesn't tell me a whole lot, so we've got to write out what that actually means, all right? Again, what is 11 talking about here, Addison? The points. And it's the points that are happening every single quarter. Do y'all agree with that? So if I gave you a test and said your test is 100 points and it's 4 points per question, what does that mean? Each question is 4 points. So we're going to use that same wording here, 11 points per quarter. So that word per signifies that it's happening every single time a quarter passes in the game. Okay. Number 2, set up that fraction for me. Lex. 125 over 5. What am I dividing by? 5, because that is on the bottom. All right, so that's going to end up giving me 25 over 1. I know I'm kind of doing some of the math quickly. Remember, on your homework, I will let you have a calculator for this one, okay? When I write out my sentence, what is my sentence going to say, Noah?
125.
Jackson?
25 feet per second.
25 feet per second. And we don't have to write that number 1 in, because if I'm saying per second, it's signifying that's for each one of them. For each one of them. Okay? Number 9, set up my fraction, Charlie. I'm sorry, number 3, set up my fraction. Lex, front. 9 over 3. All right, what am I dividing by here, Cade? 3. So that's going to give me 3 over 1. Okay, be very careful with this sentence. What should my sentence say? I've had it messed up a couple of times today. Peyton?
3 cases of soda per dollar.
No. Tate?
3 cases of soda per $9.
Peyton?
$3 per case of soda.
$3 per case of soda. Remember, what was first? The money. So this top number is saying $3 per case of soda. All right, so that's kind of tricky. What happened is I used the 3 again, and you were automatically wanting to leave 3 cases of soda. But remember, was 9 ever talking about my cases of soda? No. So this new 3 is not talking about the cases of soda. It's talking about the price we're paying for them. Okay. All right. Number 4, Caroline's birthday. For Caroline's birthday, her mom took her and 4 of her friends to a water park. Caroline's mom paid $48.50 for 5 student tickets. What was the price for 1 student ticket? How am I going to set up my rate? How am I going to set that up? Jeremiah? Over 5. Perfect. So 48.50 over 5. That part we're good with. That part's just practicing yesterday. That part should be easy. What am I dividing this one by? What am I dividing by here? 5, because that's what's on the bottom. So guys, here's the thing. Do you have to try to figure out what to simplify by? No, these should actually be easier because it's whatever is on the bottom. All right. So in my calculator, what would my calculator would tell me? Well, 5 divided by 5 we know is 1. And this part I would probably type in, and my calculator would tell me 9.7. Now that top part is talking about money, isn't it? If you go to the store, are they going to tell you that costs $9.7? No. What would I need to do to make this money? Jackson?
Put a .00 at the end and a 27.9.
So we can't move my number around. You're on the right track, but we can't move the number. So you're on the right track with the needing 2 numbers at the end. But what am I actually going to be doing here, Noah? We're just going to put 1 0. So that gives me my 2 numbers at the end that you were talking about. We just can't move the 7. Okay, so good job. All right, so I get 9.70. Now, technically, guys, for the unit rate, if you put 9.7 over 1, I would be okay with that. But can I write 9.7 in my sentence? No. So if I go ahead and add the 0 there, it might be a little bit easier. So what's my sentence going to be, Tate? Or do you have a question?
Do you have to put a dollar sign?
We're going to put our dollar sign in our sentence. So we're not going to put a dollar sign in the fraction because dollars aren't part of my fraction. Okay. What's my sentence going to be, Turner? Not quite what I'm looking for. Lily? $9.70 per student ticket. Make sure we specify it is student ticket. She's not buying herself a ticket with this money. So it's $9.70 per student ticket. All right. So Turner, just make sure we're getting away from that for each and for every. We'll make sure we're using the word per for these unit rates because that's what you're going to see on a lot of standardized tests. Okay. All right. Number 5. Now number 5 is very different. It says Walnut Middle School uses 12 gallons of water per student each day. There are 450 students. How many gallons of water are used each day at Walnut Middle School? What word does this use that we've been practicing with today, Lily?
Per.
It uses the word per. So what does that mean about this part of the sentence? What does that mean? About 12 gallons of water per student. What does that mean, Jackson?
The 12 is going to be the denominator.
Okay.
That's the rate.
That's the rate. That's the unit rate. Now, on all of my other questions, I was trying to find the unit rate. This one gives me the unit rate. Do y'all agree? So let's go ahead and write that out. So I'd write 12 over 1. Now, I will say for this part especially, I'm going to make sure I know what's what. So this is 12 gallons. This is 1 student. I have found that this makes it a little bit easier for me to keep track of things. All right, are there any questions on how I got the unit rate? Good with that? Okay. So I want us to think about it. In all of the problems before, I was dividing, right? Because I was trying to find the unit rate. This time I'm given the unit rate, so we're going to do the opposite. So what would the opposite be? Thank you, Marlene, for raising your hand, and Peyton. So we're going to multiply here. Y'all okay with that? So we're doing the opposite. What am I multiplying by? Charlie? 450. This is my other number that I'm given. So I'm going to do 450. If I do it on one, we got to do it on the other. Are y'all okay with that? Okay. So I'm going to do the bottom because that's easy. 1 times 450 is 450. What was this talking about? Students. Ooh, look. What was it asking me? 450 students. All right. Just like magically worked out. Okay. Because we did the opposite. All right. And then 12 times 450. This would be something I'd use my calculator for. And that's going to give me 5,400. And what is this talking about? Gallons. Okay. Let's read the question again. It says there are 450 students. We figured that out already. How many gallons are used each day at Walnut Middle School? So how many gallons are going to be used each day?
5,000.
Thank you, Peyton. 5,400. So I'm just going to circle that part because this is really all I need to answer the question, isn't it? I've showed all my work, labeling everything. And I did forget, guys, I want us to look at one more problem. All right, I meant for us to do this earlier. I want us to look at number 5 real quick on your homework before I let you go and get started. I will mention number 7 here is like number 5 in the notes. So if you need some help, look at number 5. All right, we're going to look at number 5 on our homework. It says $4 for 8 bottles of water. $4 for 8 bottles of water. What's going to go on top? What's going to go on top here? Kathia? What's going to go on top for number 5? Nope. 4. Guys, do we get to pick the order? No, so I'm going to put 4 on top because 4 comes first. 8 on the bottom because 8 is second. All right. What am I dividing by? What am I dividing by here? Jeremiah? Nope. 8. Because we have to divide by the denominator. Do I care that it's bigger? No, the rule said divide by the denominator. Does it say divide by the denominator as long as it's little? No, just divide by the denominator. So I'm going to do divided by 8. And guys, this has like rocked a lot of people's worlds today. This is why writing that down makes it easier. Make sure the number on the bottom is what you're using, okay? You don't have to write this, but I promise it's going to help you get the right answer. Okay? Turner? You divide by the denominator every single time. Right here on the front, what did it say? Divide by the denominator every single time. Here we divided by 4. Here we divided by. Here we divided by. Here we divided by. Because those were all what was on the bottom. Are y'all okay with that? Does that make sense, Turner? Okay. All right. So flipping back, going back to this one. All right, so in my calculator, I'm going to type in 4 divided by 8. And my calculator is going to say 0.5. All right, and then on the bottom we're going to get 1. Now we have to remember, what is 4 talking about?
Money.
Money. Is 0.5 a good way to talk about money? No. Peyton, what do I need to do? Add a 0. So now, how much money do I know it's actually costing me for each of these bottles of water? Someone besides Peyton. Vanessa? Addison? 50 cents. So I'm going to put my dollar sign 0.50 per bottle of water. You see, I'm kind of writing real small so I can fit it in and not take up space for number 6. Okay. So do you see, guys, are you always going to get a whole number? No. Are you always going to get a number bigger than 1? No. Right? You can have a big bottom number. You're still going to divide by that if we're talking about unit rates. All right? My answers, I'll send those out tonight. I also have them back in the back. So if you have, just like am I setting this up right? Am I writing this out? That's a good way to check that. If you have a bigger question like, what am I doing wrong? Then you need to bring me your paper with your work so we can look at it. All right? If you're not getting the right answer, we definitely need to look.